All right, guys, let's go look at some houses. But before we leave, today I'm going to give you 3 big questions that you want to ask your realtor on every single showing.
You better get fired up.
I love showing houses, but a lot of times when I go show houses, people ask questions that just kind of pop into their mind, right? There's no rhyme or reason, no strategy, no why behind the questions. They're just coming out as quickly as they're popping into their head. Today, I want to give you the 3 big questions that I think a lot of people don't ask, but if they did ask, it would give them the most benefit. All right, so let's kick it off with a big word if you've never bought a house. If you bought a house, you've heard of this, but if you haven't, you might not have. It's disclosures. So when anyone goes to sell a house, they have to fill out disclosures and present them to the buyer at the time that a purchase agreement is signed, right? Or sometimes you can write in, you've got 3 days, 5 days, whatever it is, to review the disclosures. The disclosures are the sellers telling the buyers, this is everything we know about the house. All the defects, all the problems, all the issues. Did we fix it? Didn't we fix it? How did we fix it? Who fixed it? When did we fix it? It tells you everything that's ever gone on with that house so that you, the buyer, can make an informed and educated decision. So when you're coming into a house, it's not difficult for your realtor to actually go into the documents section on the MLS and print off those disclosures for you before you even go and look at the house. As you're going through the house, your realtor can go down those disclosures, read them to you, and tell you if there's any issues that you need to be cognizant of before you get too married to that property. Some states will allow a seller to sell the home without giving disclosures, but as a buyer, you can always ask the seller for the disclosures, whether they're giving them to you or not, right? And even if the seller says, hey, I never lived there, I bought this as an investment property, we did a bunch of stuff to it and now we're flipping it, or hey, it was my grandmother's house, I never went to the house, I got it in the will, they can still write out disclosures that say exactly that to cover everybody involved if anything legally pops up down the road. All right, let's take a quick break. If you're loving what I'm putting out, I want you to go check out that Instagram handle. I put out a stat of the day every single day for the Treasure Coast. And if you're really loving what I'm putting out, get over there and check out that Facebook business page. I'm always on there doing Facebook Lives. All right, so number 2 is association information, right? So I'm gonna break this into 2 different things. Number 1 is the numbers, and number 2 are the covenants and restrictions. So with the numbers, all you gotta do is look at the HOA addendum. It'll tell you all the fees associated, right? Do you have an application fee? Are there any monthly fees? Are there assessments right now? It tells you everything. And listen, when you're buying a house, you have to know the numbers. Looking at these numbers gives you a better idea, more accurate depiction of whether or not this house as a whole is going to fit into your budget. And the second part of that are the rules, restrictions, covenants associated with the HOA, right? There are things in an association that you're going to want, and there are things you're not gonna want. You want to know what those things are before you go and look at a home that's in an HOA, so you can ask up front, am I allowed to do this or not? And you're not investing all of your emotions into that home. So one example of that, for me, I'm a worker, man. I don't wanna do anything with my lawn because I'm so busy working on my business. I don't want to be a part of an association that doesn't take care of my lawn for me. So for me, that's one of the big questions that I'm asking on day 1 is, hey, do I have to do anything with my lawn or do they take care of this? If you're a mechanic or you're a car lover, right? You might love to work on your car on Saturdays. Well, some HOAs will not allow you to sit and work on your car in your driveway if you're in that particular HOA, right? So what a great question to ask on the first showing so you don't have to get mentally attached to that property and now you have a tough time letting go of it when you find out that you're not able to do your Saturday hobby. All right, and then number 3 brings us back to the numbers, right? We're gonna talk about the bills. So I'm talking the electric, the heat, the internet, the garbage, the water, all of it. You can ask the companies that provide those services to give you a month-over-month average so you can see on average throughout the year what you're paying. Or you can ask the sellers to give you the last couple months of bills so that you've got a good idea of what you need to budget for that home. So now you haven't just talked to the lender and said, hey, what is my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? You actually know the HOA fees included, you know all the bills included, and now your budget is gonna be on point, man. All right, guys, those are the 3 big questions that you want to ask on your first showing to set you ahead of the competition and position you perfectly when buying that next home. If you like the video, get down and hit that like button. If you loved it, give me a subscribe. I appreciate it. And you guys stay fired up.